it's Jen, and I'm here with a layout for Elle Studio today using the November kit. And I am starting with this photo of my daughter. She's jumping on the trampoline up in the air, her arms are up, and I thought this would be a great one. This is one of the cards in the kit, Thankful For. And everything in the kit has there's a lot of thankful things and there's a lot of Christmassy things. And so I thought I like to do thank you cards at Thanksgiving for family and friends and stuff. And I thought it would be nice to do kind of a Thankful For layout for Thanksgiving as well. So I've just printed this photo on some Nina Exact Vellum Bristol paper, and I had planned to put this paper on to put this 8.5 by 11 photo on a 12 by 12 layout and kind of build it from here. But as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking I want to go minimalist on this layout, and I'm just going to build my layout directly onto the photo. And so I had planned to use this card, but I think what I'm going to do is cut out the words Thankful For and put them at the top. And then my plan was to use the stamps that are for this month and just stamp directly on the photo and write on the photo with the 1, 2, and 3 things that I'm thankful for right now. I've pulled a bunch of other items from the kit, as well as some things that are from the printables, like this 1, 2, 3 is a printable. And then I don't know if I'll use these stars, but I thought I would pull them out just in case. And so those are some of the things that I'm thinking about as I am starting this layout. And I'm going to go ahead and just build it directly on this 8.5 by 11 background. I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward so you can watch me through the process.
So I'm going to start with hand cutting out these words that say Thankful For, and I'm just using my close to my heart micro tip scissors for that. Love those for hand cutting, and I will not make you watch me cut this whole thing out, but you can see I'm trimming it pretty close to the letters. I kind of wanted it to look like almost like it could have been printed on the paper, but obviously it doesn't look like that, but I wanted a closer trim. That little currently die cut that's above the Thankful For is from the printables for this month, and I love that. And now I'm pulling out the stamps to do my 1, 2, 3, and I'm just going to do it on the left hand side of the layout, just kind of spreading them out. And I was trying to decide how exactly I wanted to do it, and I wasn't sure, so I went and grabbed this new stamp set that has the months and the year. This is my favorite stamp set of all time to date, maybe, and I super love it. So I'm using some white pigment ink, and I'm going to stamp the little rectangle at the bottom, and there's a place for you to stamp in the month, the day, and the year. And I just love the way that white ink looks stamped on top of a photo. Now, I mentioned I printed my photo on some it's a vellum Bristol cardstock, and so it's a matte finish, and so it's really easy to stamp on. And so I'm just stamping today's date because I want to, these are the things I'm thankful for right in this very moment. Now you can see I accidentally dropped my 7 stamp on my photo. I really didn't want to reprint this, so I'm just planning on covering that up somehow, and we'll see how I get there. So look at that date. That is my favorite stamp set. I will use that over and over. It's going to be hard for me not to use it on every layout. I don't know what I'm going to do. So now I'm thinking about the 1, 2, 3. Now what I really wished I could do was stamp the 1, 2, 3 in white as well, but the sky is too light in the background of the photo to do that. And so I'm thinking right now that I'm going to do a color scheme that has green, yellow, and then maybe like an aqua or teal. And so I stamped the 1 with some yellow ink, and now I'm stamping the 2 in some glacier ink from Close to My Heart. And I'm just punching that out with this little, I think it's a 3/4 inch punch that I have. So it leaves a little white border around the edge, and I really like the glacier color, and so I decide that the yellow's too bright, and I'm thinking I want this to be more subtle, and so I'm going to use all 3. I'm going to do all 3 of the numbers in that glacier ink. And you can see I'm just using the bottom of that Thankful For card that I cut out to stamp on, and I'm using the Elle Studio little stamp block there. It's sized at 3 by 4, so you can use it to place over your photos and trim them down to a 3x4 size too if you wanted. So here I was still thinking maybe the white will work, and so I'm stamping the numbers directly on the background with the white ink. And maybe if my white ink pad was a little bit more juicy, it would work better, or if I had tried to emboss it or something, but I need a new white ink pad. I think I'm kind of holding out for Ali Edwards' white ink pad. I'm going to see how that is. And so this is good enough for now, and I'm just going to cover those up with the numbers that I punched out before. So I'm thinking it would be nice, since I have that currently tab at the top, which you can't see right now. Sorry, it's cut off. I'm thinking that I want to just put some green down at the bottom as well, because I want to make sure that I carry that over. And so I cut a little strip of cardstock, but it wasn't quite working for me there for a second. And so I do want to cover up this kind of white edge. And so I decided to pull out my favorite washi tape of all time. I don't know where this washi tape comes from. I've had it for years. It's just a really subtle gray and white stripe. And I'm just placing that on the outside border of this layout, and I really, really like the way that ends up looking. So I just did the top and the bottom, and I'm folding back the sides. If you wanted to conserve washi tape, you could, instead of folding it over, you could cut it off and use the other side on the other half of the layout, but I was feeling lazy. And so now I'm doing the sides, and it comes together really nicely. I think it turned out really cool. So I'm really happy with the way that this washi tape turned out. And I'm just trimming off the excess there. And now I'm going to go ahead and get my title down. So I decide to pop up the currently little label there, and I'm just using some thin foam adhesive. Again, this is from Close to My Heart. I love thin foam adhesive because I don't like as much dimension most of the time, and a lot of the foam dots are really dimensional. So I'm using some Scotch Quick Dry adhesive that I have in a fine line bottle to glue down the words thankful for, and I'm thinking that I need to put an ellipses, is that what it's called? The 3 dots after the word for. And so I'm going to use my white and gray Elle Studio stickers, letter stickers, to just do the ... And I did the gray on top of the white, so it looked like it had a white shadow. And I did that to kind of mimic the words thankful for that were cut out. And it's not perfect, but it looks okay, I think. So now I'm going to go ahead and get these little circles down, and I decide to pop those up on foam as well. If I pop one thing up, I need to pop a few other things up. So those look nice, and I like the way that there's just a little bit of a shadow when you put things on foam adhesive. So now I'm going to do my journaling, and I went ahead and just paused my camera while I did that. So I just wrote 3 things I was thankful for, and I underlined it after I wrote it. And now I'm trying to see if there's anything else I can embellish with. So there are 3 little hearts in the die cuts this month, and they are all different colors, but I decided to flip them over and use the white side because I like the starkness of the white against the black on the bottom of the photo there. So I'm going to use those 3 hearts, and I'm going to pop up the center one, and the 3 hearts kind of represent me and my husband and my daughter. And, you know, people don't know that, but I know that, and it's good enough. So I'm just using a little bit of adhesive to glue those down, and that's going to cover up where I dropped this 7 stamp also. And I popped up the center one. I don't know if I said that already. The 3 things that I'm thankful for are the giggles of my daughter, a comfy couch and a big TV, and amazing friends. And so that's what I wrote my journaling about there. So now I'm trying to see what else I can add. There's a big space under thankful for, and so I just wanted to add something else. There was a card that says magic found here, and I cut it off because I love the way that it was kind of like an arrow pointing, and it points down to the photo, and I really like that. So I just cut the card up, and I think that's a great way to use those cards. Even if you don't do pocket scrapbooking or don't use the cards as a whole, they're great to cut little pieces from. So I just put adhesive on the bottom of that piece because I plan to stitch it down, but I'm waiting to see if there's anything else I want to stitch down before I decide. I thought about using an acrylic heart, but decided against that, as you can see. And now I'm moving everything out of the way so I can pull my sewing machine over, and I'm just going to stitch through it twice. So I just do 2 lines of stitching pretty close together, and I really like the the detail that stitching adds. And when you're doing a pretty simple layout like this, it's all about the details. And so that thin striped border around the outside, the stitching, those kinds of things, and popping things up to give a little shadow, those kinds of things really make a big difference on a simple layout. So now I am cutting a tiny strip of that green patterned paper, and that is from the 'Tis the Season Christmas collection. And I'm putting it at the bottom, and I'm going to stitch through that as well. So then I have stitching in 2 places on the layout, and I'm just stitching right through the center. So it's going to be like a very small little pop of green there because the white stitching will be on top of it. And I really, really like the way it all ends up looking. So I'm just pulling the threads through to the back. I always do that unless I want the threads hanging down, just because I feel like it's more secure if I pull the threads through instead of just cut them off. And so I'm using some washi tape to secure the threads on the back. And I am almost done. Now I felt like I needed something more, and I kind of wish I would have stopped here, but no, I felt like I needed more. And so if you're Tracy Claiborne and you're watching this, just look away because I'm going to do some insane splattering. I'm going to use some Liquitex white acrylic ink, and I'm just testing it here. It has a little dropper, and I'm going to do some large drops. The reason I did this was I just wanted something else on the page, but also there was a lot of space to the right of the page behind my daughter, and I just wanted to fill that up somehow. And so I put a bunch of droplets, and you know what, I'm still happy with the way the layout came out, but I wish I would have done less. But you know, c'est la vie, it is what it is. And I really am pretty happy with the way that turned out. So now I'm just ruffling up the edges a little bit of where I stitched those pieces down, and I'm using just a baby wipe to kind of sop up a little bit of the ink there, and that's going to finish this layout. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment below. I'll link to all available products, and be sure to head over to shopellestudio.com/blog to check this out on the blog. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you again soon.